Welcome guys, Brandon here from Terminated Gaming, and once again we're back on World of Warships, and this time we are reviewing a topic that has been well covered by many people, so why listen to me? I don't know. Is the GK's gameplay really done? Have we seen the best of what it was, and now it's gone forever? Well, I'd argue yes, and I'd argue no. GK is just as fun as ever. Your secondaries are just not going to be making up as much of that as it used to. That's my take on it. And here's my evidence. This is a very fun ship in the right sort of matchmaking. So we are in a tier 10 match. There are tier 8s and tier 9s on Northern Lights Domination. I am, of course, in the tier 10 German Tech Tree Battleship GK. I don't think there is a tier 10 premium German Battleship. Be weird if there was. Hey, they could probably make one. Anyways, GK, everyone knows it pretty well. Everybody loves it, but for those of you that don't, I'm running the 12 420mm guns. I like the bigger guns because, hey, who doesn't like the bigger guns? GK is also very survivable. It's got some great armor and great secondary armament, which, yes, if you are curious, this is a secondary build GK. Now, there have been changes to this build since this video. This is not a 21-point Gunther Luchens, I don't believe, in this episode, or in this video. If it is, it has Pyrotechnician and Priority Target. Whereas, after I did my rework, I went through and changed it back to IFHE. Because I wanted to test out which one would be more efficient on the new update. So, the IFHE one has not been taken out nearly as many times yet. But I did have 2 fun games in the GK without IFHE. Like, 2 amazingly fun games. This one included. So, this is going to be a relatively short game for me, that is. But I really do like... I do like the GK still. I don't think the GK is fully done yet. I don't think we've seen the end of the GK. Being honest there. So we're going to open up against that Yamato. Of course, the GK's biggest shining weakness is its German accuracy. So, really, if we get anything on that Yamato, we should consider it lucky. So, doing almost 15,000 damage at that range was pretty nice. You know, it was a pretty pleasant surprise. 12.5 kilometer secondaries is also really nice in the GK. I hit the brakes here, slowed up, so I can maybe get some shots on the Salem to help out the DDs in the middle. Of course, the GK's not very good at slowing up. It is a big ship. Our secondaries open up on the Fletcher, which I quickly targeted because he's close. And we'll see how effective those are. An okay hit against the Salem front. And we get a whole, looks like 5 secondary hits on the Fletcher. Of course, those secondaries are going to do the most damage against that Fletcher because it's a Fletcher. It's a DD, doesn't have a lot of armor. And here comes the bane of my existence for this entire match, the Vermont. The Vermont's going to be my biggest pain for me this whole match, because at range the GK's armor is where it suffers. GK's armor is really good at up front and up close, so getting shot at range is not great. And hey, there goes our first kill of the match. We kill the rune, get our first blood. 2 citadels on that rune, and somebody told me great shooting GK, and I was like, that's luck. You just give them the lead that you can, and then hope for the best with the German guns. So I was like, okay, off of that I will shoot at the Thunderer, because the Thunderer is also pretty squishy. And I hope that potentially we hit him. This Georgia up in front of me here is actually the one that's saying that. And we get a Citadel against the Thunderer, too, for another about 20,000 damage at range. I mean, this is that's a decent range to that Thunder. We shot at the Yamato at a decent range to start the match, and the Rune was the closest target we shot at. Well, besides the Salem. And we did more of our damage at those ranges than we did at the closer ranges. That Le Terrible over there, he beached himself. So, I tried to take some shots at him to help out. You gotta shoot at those DDs when you can. Get 2 hits. Hey, that's 2 hits. 2 hits is 2 hits. Especially to a DD that can't heal. Anyways, going back to this Georgia points out that the Yamato is probably going to push around this corner. So I was like, okay, the Yamato's going to push around the corner. Well, I'm going to push up and meet him. The Germans, GK actually has a decent amount of nose armor, so the Yamato has a really small gap to be able to shoot me. I actually am swinging my ship out to get broadside at this range. I don't fucking care. Sorry about the language, but that's my honest opinion. We get a Citadel on him. I almost turn and eat these torpedoes from the Smolensk. We get one Citadel against the Yamato, but the secondaries are just laying into him. The Georgia gets an amazing hit against him there. And I'm just like balls to the wall here. It's like, go. Let's get this guy. The Yamato fires back at me. Look at that. 3,000 damage? That's never going to happen again. That was luck. He's turning sideways. I fire again. Another Citadel kill him. There's the GK. I'm going to turn in and slow down. GK does 9,000 to the nose. Hey, he did better than the Yamato. I pop another heal here and just let the secondaries go to work. Because actually I'm going to start trying to turn outward here as soon as I can. And there's the secondary talent reloader, because, you know, we're at a close enough range where the secondaries aren't going to be not accurate. Aiming a little bit higher on the GK there to try to do some damage there. I spot the Fletcher with the Hydro here. I try to see if the secondaries can open up on him. They can't, so I focus back on the GK to get those accurate. I put out the fire because I don't know. Because I felt like the GK is going to be dead quicker. I shouldn't have put out that fire in case that Fletcher launched torps, because there might be a chance I don't dodge them. I get ready to target the Fletcher again here because the GK is dead. So we're up to 3 kills, 145, almost under 46,000 damage. We're still half-life. And this game could have been even better for me. Could have been, if I wasn't as dumb. The Fletcher launches his torpedoes like I said he would. Or I was afraid he would, but he launches them at a bearing that I felt like I could avoid just by slowing up. And the secondaries are firing at the GK, but I haven't turned on them as accurate fire. I fire at him too with the mains. I do about 10k. And then he's gonna, I think, return with HE here. But I still want the secondaries to, as soon as they can, with shoot at that Fletcher. But of course our George is actually paying attention and takes him out with his primaries. So now I turn the secondaries onto that Thunderer, and I'm going to try to shoot at the Salem at this range. Of course, at this point GK has had all of its tricks and gimmicks used. Thankfully to take out Turret 4, which didn't really matter to me. I'd rather have my fronts. We didn't do very much against the Salem there. And I love this new where the secondaries can split their fire, even though it's less accurate, because now multiple targets can be engaged even with the same side. If they can't shoot at the one, they're going to shoot at the other one. I turn broadside as this Thunderer is firing HE, so it wasn't going to do a big deal. 7k-ish to him. But mainly it was to get all of the secondaries firing on him. And here comes the bane of my existence once again to ruin my day. You might see it coming in. And there it is. Yep. Bane of my existence is that Vermont. And if I want to be able to avoid him, I needed to speed up here. And needed to get out of the line of fire as quick as possible. But of course at this point, everything is shooting at me because I'm low health. My heal's on cooldown. And this Missouri is going to end my run in the GK at 203,560 damage and 3 kills. I congratulate the Missouri on a good shot, and this could still be a loss for my team at this point. There's not very much map control to any of the enemy here and ourselves. We actually do have the better positioning. And the Missouri is saying he didn't expect a Citadel there, and I believe I respond back that at range the Citadel of the GK is where, yeah, at range you'll get him. Of course, you know, being polite, that was a fun match. Like, fun and quick in the GK. We died not even halfway into this game. And did 203,000 damage. Imagine if I was still alive at this point and didn't take that huge hit from the Vermont, or was paying attention to the Vermont. This game might have gotten even better. But of course, now I stuck around because it's like this game is, you know, pretty close in all things considered. Especially when our Kiev here took a torpedo from the Cossack that's behind him. And I think somebody, I don't even know who now at this point, I feel bad because I never have these things ready. The Cossack actually has a low detectability range, just like when I was trying to say the Yugumo, the Shimikaze, and the Gearing have. The Cossack also has a really low detection range. Very hard to spot. At this point, the enemy team is like I said, is very, besides their Cossack, they're very positioned southward. All their team has been shoved south. Almost back to where they spawned. The Cossack's the biggest problem for the team up here to the north. But they are dealing with them. They have a Kiev and the Thunder. The Vermont takes out our Etigo. It's funny, the enemy Vermont played very well this match compared to myself. And if I play the Vermont, I don't do that well. It's not my play style, so I've really struggled in it. But when you see a good Vermont player, you see them doing things to my GK when I'm broadside that most other ships wouldn't do. Granted, that Missouri probably would have killed me even if I had more health, because of how good his shot placement was, getting to me just before I got around that island. But imagine, if I was around that island and then could recover at least some more health and be here in this situation to be a target at least, the game might have been a little bit easier in our favor. The enemy's Missouri is pushing up aggressively here. He does have radar, so it does make him dangerous to these DDs. But he is going to go down to the Smolensk right here, and the Kitakaze is still getting shot because, you know, he was outside of smoke. And everything on the enemy team, as you notice, is focusing down on one target, except for the Vermont there. But the Vermont's going to take his better shots when he gets them, because he fires once every 40 seconds. The enemy Amalfi's all the way down there to the south. The Salem's all the way over to the right. You have the Alaska and the Vermont all the way down to the south. And the Cossack is actually going to... looks like he's trying to abandon our ACAP after being bullied by Kiev, who kills him. You gotta remember that Kiev was on like 2,000 health when we went and saw him, and that Cossack was at full, and he just absolutely destroyed the Cossack. Might have just been a bad game by the Cossack. He did get 2 kills, so you can't really count him out in this. Our Kitakaze's out here doing well. He's just trying to keep things lit for the team. Of course, I think I'm just sitting here in disbelief, not really moving the camera around, because we're watching from my actual perspective when I was playing the game. And, like, just to point out again, I've been dead for probably about 5 minutes now. We do control 3 of the caps. We'll win on points if we don't have anything else happen in about 2 minutes. Because the enemy Vermont is the scariest thing right now on the enemy team. Probably followed by the Salem, which just died to our friendly GK, who's also had some pretty good shots. I'm pretty sure that friendly GK was not a secondary build, because he's been further back this entire match. Nothing else, he's doing well. Or he's did well here. Our Kitakaze pops a smoke screen right here, but I'm pretty sure he's about to get radared by the Alaska. I mean, if this Alaska doesn't radar, it'd be shocking. But the Kita did launch torps against that Alaska. And the Amalfi on the enemy team kills our Georgia, who was doing very well to... He stuck around longer than I thought he would from the position we were in. Because, I mean, we went around that corner and really got wrecked. So here's the Kita getting radared by the Alaska. He pulls a B on the first shot. It really missed. But he's clamping down the Alaska. He's spotting the Alaska for everybody else on the team. But he gets hit by the Amalfi here, which really doesn't help. And then the Vermont gets him. The Vermont that didn't target DDs at the start of the match. And at this point I'm like, ooh, well, we still win on points, but that Vermont could still ruin this game for me. Our Smolensk gets his Confederate. He's done 2 kills and fairly well. And if you notice, the enemy team isn't very healthy. The Vermont's the healthiest ship right now on the enemy team, and then now the Smolensk has just burnt down the Alaska. So in all reality, this game's over. The Vermont really can't fire fast enough. He'll get one or two more salvos off before this game ends, but no more. Our GK is actually pushing down to try to flank, but also capture B, to make sure they have to really push. The Amalfi kills our Kiev, prolonging the game even longer. This was two evenly matched up teams, for the most part. And you don't see that very much in the current game anymore. It always seems like you get a lot of blowout matches. Of course, the enemy Amalfi is out there capturing D, but if we can kill the enemy Vermont, we will win on points. And the Smolensk, I was like, ooh, I thought the Vermont was going to get the Smolensk in that salvo, to be honest, because the Vermont just got his high caliber award. The Smolensk is going to, I believe, kill this Vermont here within this next one, but I mean, look at how close the Vermont came to killing our Smolensk there. It's just crazy how close this match was. And that Smolensk was played very well. As for the post-battle results, of course, you know, we died really, really quickly compared to the rest of the team there. First blood for that kill on the Rune. We had 54 main battery hits. We destroyed 3 enemy ships, and we had 5 citadels and then 223 target hits with the secondaries. The 5 citadels mostly coming against targets that are further out than anything. Even though we died really early, we are about halfway in. We came top of the team on XP with just over 2,000 base XP. The Smolensk was a close second, and then the Georgia just behind him. Both those players played excellent in that game. We did almost 69,000 damage to the Amato, who pushed us. We did 26,000 to the Rune, who we destroyed right out the gate. Only 18,000 to the GK, 62,000 to that Thunderer, and about 23,000 to the Salem, and then little minute damage to a couple other targets. The secondary still did almost 60,000 damage that game, and we had 794 shots and 223 hits. We only did 1,400 from fires, and then, like I said, the remainder of our damage came from our main battery with 143,000 damage off of 135 shells fired and 54 hits. We also had a almost 2 million potential damage game. Of course, a lot of damage that I did take was from, or most of the damage I took from anything was from actually armor piercing, which is very surprising in the GK. And only 22,000 from fires. Most of my damage came from the chunking salvos of the Vermont and the Missouri due to my poor positioning and angling. Finally, the one that no one cares about, the credits at XP. There you go. That's the screen. Hope you guys have enjoyed. If so, very much appreciated. And I'll catch you guys most definitely on the next one. Peace out.
Shut up and sit down.